Hey guys. Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. So today's video is going to be about whether you are playing the victim or not. Most of you are probably going to know what I mean when I say, are you playing victim? I'm going to correlate this to a business example. I'm going to use myself in this because I have definitely been this person, and you have probably played this person at some point in your life or in your career as well, so you'll probably be able to relate to it. I started playing victim at A-levels. So when I was at school, I was doing my A-levels, I was working really hard to try and get the grades that I needed for university, and it just wasn't going my way. Like, I did good at GCSEs, A-levels started to go downhill. I hated exams so much. I used to get really anxious going into an exam room and sort of sitting in a room of people. So I would just like freak out, and all of the information that I had spent months and months learning, and I kid you not, like, I had posters everywhere in my room, and I'm talking like ceilings, around all the walls, like across the floor at the back of my room, and I would walk around my room once in the morning, once at night, and I would read all of my posters with all of the notes from each subject, which was like all color-coded. It was very organized and well presented. Then it gets to results day, and I open the results, and I've got really bad grades. I was meant to get A-star AA, and I got ACD. And if you like applied for university, you're going to know that having that much of a drop for the universities that you've applied for, they're probably not going to accept someone that got ACD when the minimum requirements were AAA. So that kind of like messed up me getting into university at all. That feeling that I got on that day when I opened the results card and I didn't get the results I wanted, when I'd put in so much hard work to get those grades, I was like a bit like destroyed about it. I was really embarrassed in front of my family and stuff, because obviously they were probably really excited for me to go to uni and like go to the uni that I wanted to, like move out and start with like the next chapter of my life. So when I got these results, it wasn't great. I tried to reframe it for myself. I looked at other options, like I could have gone to college, just got like an apprenticeship, but I didn't really know what I was going to do. So I decided to retake the C and the D. So keep the A that was in Spanish, and then I was going to retake biology and psychology, do the same thing. Basically take half a gap year, so I'd go into school for those lessons for those two subjects, and then the rest of the time I worked at Victoria's Secret. So I was doing like part-time working in retail, which was like 12-hour night shifts sometimes, and I'd drive for like an hour to Sheffield, which is a neighbouring city to Chesterfield, where I was born, like my hometown. Throughout that year, like I probably put in less work than I had before. I think I left it a little bit to the last minute, like the last few months before my exams, because I was so tired from working all the time that I'd go home and just pass out, or I'd be really lazy and just stay in bed, just not really have much motivation to do anything, because I think once I'd failed once with my grades, I kind of just like internally lost some motivation and started giving up, and I was like, why would I even bother trying when I tried so hard? And I got really bad results when there was like all these people around me that barely put in like half the work that I'd put in, and they just did 10 times better. So I think it kind of hit my self-esteem a little bit, and I just stopped sort of believing in myself and that I could achieve what I wanted to achieve. I resat the second lot of exams, and I got exactly the same grades. If you think about this, it's literally been like a year of my life that I've worked and like held myself back from all my friends that I've gone. Like, I've basically stayed in school an extra year, so the people that were a year below me, I was with them. So like I felt kind of embarrassed that I hadn't left, and I was meant to be like a pretty smart kid. Like I understood things. I was just really bad with exams and like my comprehension of like reading stuff and translating what I was trying to say to paper. I just kind of panicked. So yeah, when I got the same results the second year, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, just remember this part of the story, because this is sort of what I've held on to for so long until recently, and I've used that piece of data that I got from failing my exams and just sort of translated that to every other aspect in my life, and just had this really negative thought process that I shouldn't try hard with something because I'm gonna fail anyway. So that's obviously not a healthy thing to think of. So that's like the background of everything, like my A-levels and stuff. Now, on the second year, so the year that I resat when I got my results, I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna hang back again. I'm not gonna go to a shit uni. I was meant to go to Bristol to do biology, and then on the day, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go and study languages. I wanna do Russian and Spanish. Russian, I kind of wanted to go into language analysis, for like the MI5 or something. Obviously I can tell you guys that now because it's not happened. Yeah, so like I was gonna do that, and I was like, you know what, that'd be really dope. Like I'd love to do languages and go and do something where I could maybe work abroad, travel, stuff like that. So it's not over for me. Let's have a look at some universities that offer Russian and Spanish. There's not many, and there's basically one called Queen Mary. It's a Russell Group University. It's a good university based in East London. So I went through clearance, got on the phone with the head of the Russian department. He ended up being my mentor when I actually moved to London, like my mentor within the year for university. I got on the phone with him and he was looking at my grades and he was like, look, like you don't have the grades for like what we asked for minimum. I think it was AAB or ABB was minimum, and obviously ACD, like the amount of points that I had difference was like pretty low down. And he was like, look, you're going to be the person with the lowest grades who comes like onto the course. It's a very intense course. It's a language that you've never spoken before. Are you sure you're going to be able to like, keep up and stuff like that? And I was just so desperate. I just didn't know what else I wanted to do. And I basically just told him, I was like, look, my mum's like Catalana, like I'm from a background in languages, like I pick up languages very easily. I want to challenge myself with a language that I've not had help from family or my external sort of environment with. I really want to challenge myself with Russian and Spanish. It's going to be easy for me, so I'll be able to focus a lot of my time on the new language. And he was like, okay. It was basically like a half an hour long conversation of me convincing him to let me into the university, and he ended up saying yes. So I went back home. I don't know if I ever really wanted to do that course or go to university at all, to be honest. I think it was just how I had seen from other people, and obviously how society is set up. It's that you go to school, then you go to university, and that's how you know you've succeeded at school, is going to university and doing a degree, and then you succeed at that and you get a job, and it's just X, Y, Z kind of thing. For me, going to university, whether I was really happy about it or not, was the only option and sort of avenue that I saw for myself that was possible for me to go down. So yeah, like I moved down to London. I went to see the university. Because I was going through clearance, I found out that I was going there a lot later than other people. So all of the university dorms and stuff had gone, so I had to find a private halls, which was way more expensive. It was like £240 per week. And if you know, for uni, that's quite a lot of money. It was like double, almost triple, and what I could have got if I went within the university grounds. So I had to get loans out for everything, stuff like that. Moved to university, started that degree. So I was doing Russian and Spanish, and then sort of in the ab initio year, I was spending all my time in the library, and everybody thought that I was in my final year at university because it would be all these people writing their dissertations in like final year, whatever. And I was like the only freshers who was in the library every single day. And like my friends and like my family were like, you need to like just sleep more, because I was waking up really late and missing my morning lectures because I was so exhausted. And I think I was just I was very stressed and overwhelmed, so I didn't feel motivated to get up in the mornings. I just wanted to stay in bed. Then I go to the library until really late, until it closed at like 10 p.m. and do the same thing every day. And I was never really like focused into it. I think I just went there in routine and like desperation to try and learn, because I really struggled with Russian. That's kind of like the first year of ab initio. When I went into the first official year of Spanish and Russian being a joint honours, I basically stopped going to university at all. I wasn't motivated for it. I was sleeping in until like 3 p.m. most days. I don't think I was happy at university, to be completely honest. So yeah, I kind of like stopped going to university. I didn't tell anybody or my family. I moved in with one of my friends, and I used to like, she'd literally like, so we had to share a bed in her apartment, and she would wake me up at like 7 a.m. and be like, Tash, like you need to go to university. Like she'll find this funny if she sees this. She'll be like, you need to go to university. And I was like, yeah, like I'll go. And I'd be so exhausted and I wouldn't want to go to university at all. Like I was scared of going because the classes were so small and intense that people, like the teachers ask you direct questions and answers and you go in a circle. And I'd always feel like it took me a lot longer to understand the grammar or the principle that they were teaching, and I would just feel left behind. I'd have to get the person next to me like, help me, like I don't know what the answer is, kind of thing. So I always felt like a step behind everybody else. And then I basically said to my friend, I was like, yeah, I'm going to uni. And I'd get out of bed and I'd go into the main room of the apartment, so where the kitchen and like the lounge and everything is, and I'd go and sleep on the couch. And then she would wake up and come into the room at like 10 a.m. before she had lectures, because she had a really lucky times of lectures. She'd walk in and be like, Tash, like, why didn't you go to uni? Like, have you literally just like moved out of the bed, gone to the sofa and carried on sleeping? I was like, yeah. And she was like, you need to go to university. Like, she didn't really understand why I wasn't going. She was like, go to uni, like it's not that hard. So I don't know what was wrong with me. I was just like felt sorry for myself. I didn't want to go into uni. I was in like a bad place. Like I wasn't in the best place mentally. Like I didn't feel like myself, like my happy self. So yeah, like I just didn't want to go anymore. I got a job at Selfridges, and I'd even start skipping like shifts there as well. So like anything I had to do in life, I just wasn't motivated to go to work or uni. So I kind of like stopped going to uni, but didn't admit to myself that I'd dropped out. I kind of just stopped going. I'd get loads of warnings sent to my email, like, we're gonna have to like fail you on this module, like exams coming up, like my classmates being like, where are you? Like, you've missed, like, this is like the 5th exam, like the teacher's like getting annoyed. And I just kind of blocked it out because I didn't want to face what was happening. And obviously this is the consequences of my actions. So I wasn't holding myself accountable for the fact that I wasn't going into uni and like why the real reasons were. I was just kind of like created a mist over everything and just ignored it and just stay in my own little like bubble of like self-pity without trying to like push out of it. So with Selfridges, I stayed there for a few months, then I quit. I literally like moved around a lot. I'll do another video on this of like why I moved around so much. I was like, didn't have much money. I'll do a separate video on that completely because that's not really the subject of this video. Yeah, so I kind of like moved around a lot, felt sorry for myself, and it only started clicking when other people around me called me out on it. I had all these excuses and like, oh, this happened to me, this happened, this made me feel sad, or like, this isn't fair. I tried so hard, like I didn't get the good outcome that I wanted. And I ended up realizing that I was translating what had happened from school, like with A-levels, like the first thing I failed at, probably that I'd really tried with. I think the pain that caused me because I felt like I wasn't like good enough. I was like, I tried hard and I didn't get the results I wanted. When that happened at A-levels, I continued that on throughout everything else. So then with uni, I did the same thing. And before like my business started kicking off and I started doing well like a few months ago, I had that same like mentality that I'm just not good at anything. It was actually like my boyfriend who pointed out to me, like when I told him this, I was like, I just can't do it. Like there's no point in me putting in effort because like I never get the outcome that I want. He was like, yeah, but every time you've done badly has been academically. So it's like, you did really well at school in like GCSEs, like good grades at GCSEs. But then as soon as it got a bit tougher and like you went higher up in the sort of like academic ladder, I guess you could say, that's where all of my negative data points were taken from. So everything that I was complaining about was like all from school and like university, but like anything else that I've tried, like I know I can do well at, like sport, I did well at, like anything else I put my mind to, I had succeeded in. But for some reason my brain had stuck onto the negative stuff and just been like, no, but you failed at this and this, which means that you're not going to be good at this, like stay where you are, stay comfortable, stay safe. To touch again on like the victim persona that people get, one of the main reasons is because your body, like you want to feel safe and secure and you want to stay in a place of comfort and not push yourself out of your comfort zone. So whenever you try something new or that challenges you, so it could be in business that you're trying to start an agency, it could be cold calling, anything. It's similar to what I've spoken about with like the fear of putting yourself out there and like overcoming your mindset and what's holding you back. When you play a victim, it's because it's naturally within you. It's just some people learn how to suppress it and some people let it rule them and they become like a victim to themselves essentially. And when you let yourself do that, you go into a weak mental state where you sort of let everything else overpower you. You feel small and not in control of your life and its outcomes because you've correlated any actions that you put in with like a negative result, and that's not the case. It just can be that sometimes you've done something that doesn't suit you and it's not what you should be doing. That doesn't mean that you're bad at everything else because you've not tried everything else yet. So when you do play the victim, it's good to be aware of it, and it's okay. Like sometimes it's fine to feel shit. Like if you're in a bad place, give yourself like a few hours, feel like crap, get it out of your system, and then you need to pick yourself back up. I know it sounds a lot easier than it is when you're actually in that space, in that hole. But if you take a step back and you look at it from a third party or from an external point of view and you say, okay, what is making me feel like a victim right now? What has caused me to be in this space? And you get the variables, they're normally quite easy to control. So it could be, I'm not doing well at school. Okay, how can you get a mentor? Are you supposed to be at school? Like, is that right for you? Can you get some extra help? Can you partner up with a friend? Can you get support off people to like push you through that and challenge you? Can you give yourself some sort of reward system for when you do something that you're scared of to sort of pick you out of that space? But like being a victim is one of the biggest reasons that people will be held back from starting a business, and one of the biggest reasons that will stop you from succeeding. And when you realize that you're playing a victim, or somebody else does, they're gonna tell you to stop playing like pity. And they'll be like, look, okay, well you did shit at that. Does it matter? Like, are you going to hold on to that? Because if you need to actually go anywhere in life and move forwards, you're going to have to sort of get over that, figure out another angle, and then put the right things in place to get the outcomes that you desire. So I hope that sort of story helped you guys, and it was kind of a long video, but you'll know if you're playing the victim, if you feel sorry for yourself, and if you're stuck in a hole where you feel like you're banging your head against a wall with your business. This is gonna sound cliche, but like honestly, like if you keep trying and you keep on trying the right things, like if something doesn't work and you've tried it for long enough to have enough data to know that that is not working, just change it. It doesn't mean that you're shit at marketing or running a business. That's not the case. You just haven't tried hard enough, and that's not a reason for you to give up and say, all of these other people are doing the same thing that I'm doing the same as them, they're getting all these results, it's not working for me. That's not how it works. You have to carry on putting in the effort, and if you have enough time to complain, you're not putting enough energy into what you should be doing to get the desired result. So if you feel like you're playing a victim, get somebody else to call you out on it and be like, look, I'm still feeling sorry for myself on XYZ. I need you to like call me out when I do this, and every single week let's have like a check-in where I'm going to tell you what I've actually done this week, because sometimes you think that you've done a lot and you're like, oh, I did so much work this week, I put in so much work, but when you actually break it down into the hours of input that you put towards that thing, you'll realize that half of it was probably procrastination, you being in a bad mood or giving up, and most of it wasn't actually real active work. So when you figure that out, you'll be like, yeah, well, these other people that are getting results are actually doing the work, and I've given myself a little bit of slack, and I've not been harsh enough on myself to actually stick to what I do need to do and like do it in the right way. But yeah, I hope that helped you guys. I hope it all made sense. I know it was very long-winded, but yeah, hope it helped, and I'll see you all in the next video.